Hello. I decided that I was going to finally stream my reaction to Fnaf 4 because I don't know anything about Fnaf, to be honest. Um, the only thing I really know about it is that it's a game that was popular. I don't know if it's still popular, but I know I have like all the games. Actually, I have Fnaf 1 through 4 downloaded on my phone, but I never actually like legitimately played them. So I don't know anything about it. I just know you have to survive 5 nights and then ta-da. But I don't know like the actual stories of anything, so I'm gonna find out. Let's see what happens. Download on my phone, but I never actually like played them, so I don't know anything about it. I just know you have to survive 5 nights and then ta-da. But I don't know like the actual stories of anything, so I'm gonna find out. Let's see what happens. Download on my phone, but I never actually. No idea how my stuff works here. Oh, okay. I'm so new to this OBS thing. I'm still trying to figure things out. Hold up. I think I fixed it. I don't know if I did. I think I did. I don't know if I did. So new to this OBS thing. I'm still trying to figure things out. Hold up. I think I fixed it. I don't know if I did. I think I did. I don't know if I did. I'm about to find out, aren't I? I don't know how to do this. What am I supposed to turn down here? Oh, wait. Hang on. Where's the shoot? I think I have the wrong setting. I don't know. Um, I think great to figure out later on or earlier. This is why console streaming is so much easier. How do I fix this? I don't know. Screw it, I'm just do it. I don't care. Go for it, see what happens. Anyways, screw it, let's do it. Yeah, never heard of it for sure. Never ever heard of that one. That one's crazy. We talking about? I just realized I muted desktop audio. That was dumb. Hang on a sec. Probably should have done that. Hang on. Let me redo that real quick. I think it should work now. I muted desktop audio in accident. That was not smart.
Hello once again, theorists. Welcome to MatPat Plays. Today we are playing the scariest game of all creation.
I don't know.
Probably never heard of it. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's.
About to find out.
Here we go.
Okay, it's working. We're good. Everything's fine.
What's this?
I think. I don't know. I hope so. Anyways.
It's a camera. The camera came up. Oh, was that a bunny? Was that a bunny? I think it was a bunny.
It's Chica. No, that's Bonnie. No, wait. The bunny's Bonnie. The blue one's Bonnie.
I am
the
so
one's
scared
Chica,
right now.
and the bear is
Oh god!
Freddy. I know that much.
It was only the fan. It's only the fan. Only a fan. I have never played a game this intense. Okay,
Yeah?
shut the doors, shut the doors, shut the doors.
Is it just him playing it?
Oh, please don't see me, 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 please
Game over. Okay, let's skip through this a little bit.
Alright. I mean, oh god, it's so terrifying. Oh, there's the bunny rabbit.
It's not done yet.
Man, this is truly compelling gameplay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the part where it does.
Gosh,
okay,
guys.
this looks like an intro right here.
What is this?
That definitely didn't make me jump at all. So it gave me a little spook in my tummy. It was a really cool intro.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where fear is our middle name. Matthew Fear Patrick. It's a very strange name.
Matt Pat, okay.
I'll admit it, I didn't give Five Nights at Freddy's
I didn't know why his name was Matt Pat at first. I understand now. I get it.
enough credit when it first came out. A few jump scares from creatures that, aren't that scary. People overreacting to it on YouTube. Meh, pass. But then when
You're just really calling out everyone on YouTube for that one. Dang.
I asked you about it, you showed overwhelming support for an episode on the game on Twitter, so I began to dig a little deeper and deeper. And what I found was some of the most interesting storytelling, most intriguing mysteries, and most disturbing events I'd read about in a long
I also know that, like, Markiplier is apparently, like, the Fnaf king. I watched his videos before with him just kind of playing the game and running through it. I don't know if he knows any of the story or not, but I know he's apparently like some kind of Fnaf king, or I don't know if it's self-dubbed or just general knowledge, but yeah, I know that much.
long time. Now, if you were just to play the game straight through 5 days, the story would actually come across as pretty superficial. You're the new night guard watching the security cameras at a Chuck E. Cheese-style restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. 4 animatronics roam the halls at night because the owners don't want their servos to lock up. Bad news is, you can't let them near you or else they'll kill you on the spot because you look like a naked endoskeleton. Ow, ow! Show them those circuits! Apparently, one of them bit someone back in 87. Presumably.
Oh my god, that meme, that try to bit my finger meme. Dude, that thing is so old. Oh my gosh. That's insane. When did that even come out? I don't know.
1987. And the past guard leaves you recorded phone messages to act as your tutorial. That is, as much as he could record before he got himself killed. And that's it. Stay 5 nights, collect your paycheck, done, game over, play something new. But playing it that way is doing the game a huge disservice, because that's not even scratching the surface. If you're really observant, you start to unravel the layers of unsolved mysteries around this place. You find that there's a 5th animatronic, that posters on the wall will change randomly, that news clippings appear and disappear, telling the dark
If I'm not mistaken, the tear person with the tears and everything, that's called like a crying child. If I'm not, I think, I know like general stuff, like general knowledge on it, but like I don't know like lore. I'm not sure how to explain it. Like I know like names and such, but I don't know like story, lore, like how we got from here to here to here. Like I don't know all that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the little children there with the crying tear things, I'm pretty sure they're called crying children or like the crying child, something like that. I think. I don't know.
secrets of this twisted place. Putting it all together, here's the rest of the story. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, once a popular restaurant, fell into hard times when 5 children went missing there after being lured to a back room by a man dressed in a character costume. Though a suspect was caught and convicted, the bodies of the children were never recovered. The pizzeria was also
Bro, how does someone do that? They just took a bunch of children and stuffed them in the animatronics and then were never found. Bro, how? Hang on. I'm guessing the like police like were on this and like searched the place, but like how do you not look inside that too? I mean, that doesn't cross your mind at all at any point. Just let's check these things. Maybe, just maybe. Sheer coincidence, maybe they could be in there. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
threatened with shutdown due to sanitation complaints, as foul odors started to come from the animatronics, blood and mucus oozing from their eyes and mouths.
So these children that were unalived are now rotting and stinking up the animatronics, and no one thought to check them. Didn't even make sense. How do you not check? Okay.
The last article, written years after the incident, states that the pizzeria would finally be closed by year end. In addition to the core 4 robots, Chica, Bonnie, Freddy, and Foxy, there's also a 5th, unofficially referred to as Golden Freddy. Ignoring the rules of physics, Golden Freddy appears and disappears at will, can inexplicably travel through doors, wherever, causing strange hallucinations. And when he attacks you, you're not taken to the typical game over screen, your game crashes. So that's unsettling. And there's also strange messages appearing on the walls, repeating the words, "It's me." According to the game's creator, the place is indeed haunted by what we can only assume to be the spirits of the 5 lost children. So that's the gist of it. Murder, missing children, foul odors, killer robots, and pizza. But that story leaves a lot of lingering
Well, of course, pizza. You can't just not eat.
questions. Who is your character? How's he fit in? Why does he stay for 5 nights when he's very clearly confronting?
Yeah, hold up. What? Hold up. Hold up. That's a good point, though. Why is the person you're playing as actually stay the full 5 nights? Like, you would think, the first night, maybe 2, of getting attacked by animatronics, this dude would be like, you know what? Screw that. I'm out. Fuck that. And just leave. Why'd you actually stay for 5 nights? That don't make sense.
The possibility of death. What more can we know about this terrifying Golden Freddy? And most importantly, what is the complete story behind Five Nights at Freddy's? They're all good questions about a delightfully incomplete and mysterious story with just enough threads to keep you theorizing. So now, if you'll indulge me, let me reciprocate that.
I don't know what the point of... What was that? What's that freaking thing called again? The pink thing? I'm gonna get hate on so much for this, but what is the pink carrot that went across the screen? I forget what that character's called. What is it called? Oh shoot. Kirby, that's what it is. Was that some kind of reference to a Kirby game being like incomplete or something? Because I don't know. Anyways, irrelevant.
That story with one of my own. I think you'll find it interesting. December 1993, Aurora, Colorado, 10 p.m. Tuesday
I wasn't even born yet. Okay.
night at a local Chuck E. Cheese. After a family birthday party runs long, manager Margaret Kohlberg and teenage employees Sylvia Crowell, Ben Grant, Colleen O'Connor, and Bobby Stevens are...
I'm sorry, teenage employees? Teenage? Bottom right is not a teenager. There ain't no way bottom right is a teenager. The top 2, maybe, but teenage? They look way too old for teenagers. There ain't no way. The top left chick, she looks like she's in her like early 20s. Doing the right looks like he's just entering his 20s. No, early 20s. They look like they're in their 20s. That's not teenage. No.
Are forced to stay late to close up shop. But as Margaret tallies receipts in the back, Bobby scrubs down the kitchen, and the other 3 work outside in the main arcade. Unknown to any of the 5, there's actually a 6th person locked in the building with them, waiting silently in the darkened restrooms. A 19-year-old named Nathan Dunlap. Earlier that year, Nathan had begun working...
Again, 19? Bro, they all look like they're in their early to mid-20s. That's teenage and not in the 90s, bro? What? What are they eating? Well, that's just me. I don't know. I don't know. They don't look like teenagers to me at all.
There as a cook, dough master, before getting fired in July after a disagreement over his hours. Now, 5 months later, he was back. At 10:05, he left the bathroom, pulled out a small caliber handgun, and proceeded to execute everyone in the building. First Sylvia, then Ben, then Colleen. Dunlap then moved to the kitchen, where he surprised Bobby Stevens. The bullet entered Bobby's jaw, sending him sprawling onto the ground. Then finally, Nathan moved to the back, the office, where Margaret...
But is he no longer... Hold up. They didn't say he didn't say he was, unalive. They just said sprawling onto the ground. So is he good, or... He said enter his jaw and send him sprawling to the ground. He didn't say he was unalive, he just said on the ground. So, I don't know about that one.
Opened the safe before Nathan shot her twice, proceeded to grab her bag, filling it with $1,600 in cash, arcade tokens, and keychains. Spurred on by the building's
What do you need arcade tokens for? What?
security footage, police were...
He really took her down and said, you know what I really want from you right now? Arcade tokens. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want right now. Why? Okay.
at his home a few hours later, where he was promptly arrested. Eventually, he was tried and sentenced to death, but his story re-entered the news just recently as his punishment has been postponed, leading people to debate whether he's able to sleep soundly, knowing that his execution has been delayed. This is a tragic story.
Wait, hang on. How recent is this? Because I, again, don't know anything about this stuff. I would assume this is, like, very old, but I don't know for sure.
Disgusting waste of human life, and one that I won't joke about or make fun of in any way, but I want to address it because I have a strong suspicion that this story is the one that inspired Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's look at the facts. First, I don't think that there's any doubt that Freddy's is a parody of Chuck E. Cheese. From the singing animatronics to the alliterative naming of the characters, the parallels are just obvious, so the setting is certainly the same. Next, what year does Five Nights take place? The time is certainly kept vague, but there are clues that we can put together. For one, the Chuck E. Cheese franchise had a tremendous period of growth and success in the late 80s and early 90s, but
I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid and I went to Chuck E. Cheese, those, I guess animatronics, we call them, scared the shit out of me. And still to this day, that freaking, hold up, that little brown bear right there, where is it at?
Naming of the characters, the parallels are just obvious, so the setting is certainly the same. Next, what year does Five Nights take place? The time is certainly kept vague, but there are clues that we can put together. For one, the Chuck E. Cheese franchise had a tremendous period of
That guy, that brown bear right there, that is probably one of the scariest looking things I've ever seen. Ain't no way, child or adult, I would ever go near that thing. Absolutely not. Nope.
growth and success in the late 80s and early 90s, but game consoles taking center stage. So that's one clue, but we can get even more detailed, specifically with your character's paycheck. Each night you're working a 6-hour shift, and you're spending 5 nights there. So that's 30
I guess the employee of the month, like, this is not the only person working there.
hours of total work
So I better be freaking employee of the month if I'm literally risking my life 5 nights in a row.
time for $120. In total, $4 an hour. How can they do that? That's below minimum wage for 2014. But in 1990, minimum wage was $3.80. In 1990,
Wait, hold up. Hold up. 2014, $4 an hour? Did I hear that correctly? What? Man, I was 14 years old when the minimum wage was $4 an hour. Bro, how is anyone surviving off of that? Ain't no way. You do a 10-hour shift, $4 an hour? That's $50 for the day. So if you do 4 days a week, that's like $200. What? Okay. Ain't no one surviving off of that. How in the world?
it was raised to $4.25, and by 1996 you were looking at about $5 an hour. So the game seems to take place between 1991 and 1996. The Nathan Dunlap story took place in 1993. But let's move on to the most important comparison, the victims. In the game there were 5 child victims. In the real life story there were also 5 victims. But we can get even more specific. Online theories about the game always tend to draw a parallel between the number of kids missing to the the number of animatronics, saying that the children's bodies were stuffed in the various suits. And this appears to be true. Bonnie and Chica both have moans and raspy breath sound effects, as though someone's trying to cling to the last threads of their lives stuffed inside the costumes. And other sounds made by the animatronics are just slowed down versions of children's laughs and screams. Additionally, as the news clipping mentions, the suits ooze blood and mucus and begin to stink, like decaying bodies or reanimated corpses. So
Again, if they're like oozing gross mucus and blood and stuff, and they smell like complete arse, how does no one think to check them? Not a single person was just like, you know what? Maybe the freaking robotic animals off in the corner over there that smell like shit. Check them? You know, maybe. But no.
victims, 5 suits. Seems like a slam dunk, but nowhere does it say that all 5 were murdered, only that they went missing and couldn't be found. Also, the trouble a lot of people have with this theory is Golden Freddy. Why is that guy so limp and lifeless? So unlike the others. It's weird, until you go back to the real life story. Yes, there were 5 people shot that night in Chuck E. Cheese, which matches the 5 victims in Freddy's story, but of those, 1 survived. Bobby, the one from the kitchen, miraculously survived the shot to his jaw after he was not.
I knew it. Like I said, it didn't say he died. It just said he got shot in the jaw and then just fell on the ground and was like, damn. So.
Knocked to the floor by the bullet, he went limp, played dead, to avoid the killer coming back to finish the job. And that relates exactly to the advice you're given on night 3 by the phone guy.
Try playing dead. You know, go limp.
Again, let me reiterate that I'm not trying to make light of the real-life events by comparing them to bear costumes and animatronics, but I do want to point out that these similarities do exist. And what else is limp and appears to be a lifeless, empty suit in the game? Golden Freddy. Surviving the attack, Bobby was able to go to trial and be a damning piece of evidence in the case against Nathan Dunlap, ultimately leading to his death sentence. Which animatronic surprises you by appearing randomly? The one you don't expect and has no clear pattern? Golden Freddy. It's also worth mentioning that of all the cameras in the restaurant, one is always black, preventing you from seeing what's going on. That camera is located in the kitchen, leading many to assume it's where Golden Freddy hides, which just...
No, I did always wonder why that one camera was just like not usable. It made no sense to me because all the other ones, perfectly fine. That one, you couldn't see anything. That always made no sense to me, but if that is actually like the theory here, that makes a lot of sense.
So happens to be the place Bobby was able to survive the attack. So I ask, odd coincidence or source of inspiration? In fact, if you think about it, the behavior of the animatronics really corresponds with key features of each of the real-life story's victims. We just covered Golden Freddy and Bobby, but the rest have strange parallels too. Bonnie goes into the utility closet filled with floor cleaning supplies, the most prominent ones being a mop and a broom. It's probably one of the most random rooms in the game, until you consider that Ben, the second victim, was vacuuming at the time of the attack. Foxy is kept sequestered in the back of the building, behind a curtain, more aggressive than all the rest, similar to the way Margaret, the manager, was in the back office counting receipts at the time of the murder, and her role as manager would inherently make her more aggressive or assertive. Sylvia was closest to the bathroom and was cleaning up the salad bar at the time of the attack. Chica walks past the bathroom and is associated with food. And Freddy, well, he doesn't have that strong of a parallel with Colleen, but he does appear in the girls' restroom. Odd for what we would assume to be a male animatronic. Maybe it's a reference to Colleen being a girl, or a nod to Nathan's plan of hiding in the bathroom until he was ready to attack. Alright, after doing all the research, reading every fan theory in existence, and putting all the clues together, what can this mean for the story of the game? I think the game is an allegory for that night back in 1993. Here's my final interpretation. You, Mike Schmidt, are the murderer, former employee of Freddy's Pizzeria. Like Nathan in the real story, you were fired for the reason stated in the Day 7 pink slip.
Okay, hang on, wait, hold up. Hold up. So, if I'm hearing this correctly, if I'm getting my wits about me here, it's the Mike Schmidt guy, the security guy, is the one that uh, took out 5 children and then dumped them into the animatronics, and then the animatronics are now going after him for 5 nights. Okay. I mean, it makes a little sense, but like, not a whole lot of story there. Anyway, I don't know.
Tampering with the animatronics, being unprofessional, odor. Maybe it was your tampering with the robots that caused the infamous bite of 87. Regardless, like Nathan, you were mad and wanted to get even.
I also have no idea what that is. I'm pretty sure it's Foxy biting a child's head, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know for sure.
So you lured children to the back using a costume, killed them, stuffed their bodies into the animatronic suits, hoping to get the place shut down, then left. Notice that the newspaper clippings never say it's an employee of the company luring the children away, but we know it must have been someone with access and knowledge of the employees-only section of the building. And as the newspaper clippings clearly show, just like Nathan, you were caught almost immediately, captured on the security footage. You were arrested, tried, and convicted, forced now to live on death row. The Freddy's Pizzeria you work in now are just the nightmares that haunt you, taunting you every night with the phrase, "It's me, it's me." It is you. You are the killer. The nightmare is also why everything is so surreal. Posters switching at random, heads on the animatronics glitching, Golden Freddy appearing and disappearing at will, taunting you as the one that got away. It's also why you're only at the pizzeria from midnight to 6 a.m. every night. It's a nightmare. It's in your sleep. It's a place you created, a restaurant long closed as evidenced by the spider webs, and overrun with angry spirits out for revenge on you and you alone as the one who took their lives, as evidenced by them completely ignoring.
So, the game is a dream? Is that what he's trying to say? Because it's saying it's a nightmare that you only experience at night, or she says something along the lines of that, but so it's a dream then? What? My brain can't handle this, but I'm trying.
Ignoring the naked endoskeleton elsewhere in the building. It's also a place you can't escape from. Why you find yourself back there night after night, even after you complete your 5 nights. See you back next week, the ending text goes. You're unable to leave this terror, the threat of death, the guilt, because it never ends. And in a delightfully ironic twist, your personal hell forces you to supervise the exact same security footage that led to your capture in the first place. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Sweet dreams. You know what October reminds me of?
Wait, oh, I thought it was done. I was like, hold up. Okay, it's done. So, next one? Yeah, next one. Okay.
Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, and welcome to the new and improved Five Nights at Freddy's 2 video. I'm here to answer any questions the game may have left unanswered. The game's developer, he's a pretty tricky guy. Don't worry, though. We'll get everything cleared up. Oh, and watch out for the puppet.
Not one word. Okay, not one word. I don't want to talk about that.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that promises not to include any more gratuitous jump scares, unless that's just what I want you to think so I can lull you into a false sense of security and scare you again. But I wouldn't do that. I'll just let the uncertainty of whether a jump scare is going to happen or not drive you insane for the rest of this episode. Man, I love reverse psychology. You know what else I love? These games! Not because I'm freaked out by the rosy-cheeked, tingle-looking, emotionally dead animatronics. Okay, well, Balloon Kid is pretty messed up, but whatever. No, what I appreciate about these games is the level of thought that went into every element of the story. When you create a game that has people rage debating about whether it's a sequel or a prequel, you've definitely done something right. Unless that was never your intent, in which case you've done something horribly, horribly wrong. Anyway, the point is, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 looks to be everything you'd want in a sequel. More cameras, more danger, and more fan. Oh, the
Now this is the one where you wear the mask, and they can come out of vents and like the giant freaking hallway in front of you. Pretty sure it's that one, and I'm pretty sure also Chica doesn't have a beak in this game. And then Bonnie is missing a whole face, apparently, I think. And I also think this is when Mangle becomes a thing. That's about all I know.
fan. But that also comes with more questions. Questions about the game's lore. And while others will provide you with the jump scares, I provide you with what everyone really wants, answers. Well, maybe not everyone. What an elite, educated subset of you really want, answers. So grab yourselves a slice of Freddy Fazbear's signature pizza, cause we're about to dig in. Ugh, tastes like cardboard. Let's get the big one out of the way first. Is the game a sequel or a prequel sequel? And what I mean by that is, contrary to popular belief, just because it has a big 2 slapped next to the name doesn't automatically mean the game comes after the first one in a timeline sense. It's a sequel, yes, but it tells a prequel story. Take for instance these all-time classics: Psycho 4: The Beginning, Lion King 1.5, and the actual all-time classic Godfather Part 2. All of them sequels.
That's what Lion King 1.5 means? Wait, hold up. No, because I had that movie when I was little. I was like 11. Lion King 1.5 was... Wait. Hold up, wait. That's a prequel? I didn't know that at all. That is... Okay. That actually blows my mind. Wait, so why is it called 1.5 then? Why just be called... What? 1.5? That means like... I don't know. Anyways.
Sequels that just so happen to also be prequels. It's not mutually exclusive. So where's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 fit in? Knowing its place in the timeline is crucial for understanding its story. Well, to figure that out, let's focus on the paycheck you receive at the end of your 5th night. The date places the events of the game in 1987, a whole 6 years ahead of when we determined the first game took place in our first video. Sounds like a prequel, but we found that date in the first game by calculating Mike Schmidt's hourly pay and comparing that to the minimum wage of the 90s. If Scott Coffin, the game's developer, is just picking random numbers for the payments, this bit of evidence would be meaningless. Except that he's not. At the end of Five Nights 2, you get paid $100.50. Divide that by the 30 hours worked and you get $3.35 an hour, the exact minimum wage for 1987, which means that us using minimum wage calculations to identify the year of Five Nights 1 is a perfectly valid way to prove it, and shows that it takes place after the events of Five Nights 2. Still don't believe me? Players brave enough to survive the extra night 6 are rewarded with a bonus check and a newspaper clipping that says the toy robots are getting scrapped, and that the old ones are going into storage for a new...
Oh no, she does have a cheek. Or a cheek. The fuck? She does have a beak. At least in here. I swear Chica does not have a beak in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Wait, I'm... Hold up. I swear in Fnaf 2, Chica does not have a beak. And she's all like shiny and stuff. I guess that's the toy. Hold up. I'm so confused.
smaller scale version of the restaurant. That would explain why the old models reappear in Five Nights 1 and the toy models don't. And notice how it mentions a smaller version of the restaurant. The building in Five Nights 1 is significantly smaller than the setting of Five Nights 2. Need more evidence? What about the fact that on the first night in the office, the phone guy explains that the robots used to walk around during the day just like they do in Five Nights 2, but not anymore. Or the fact that phone guy dies in the first game, making it hard for him to also be the phone guy in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 if it takes place after. Call me the Phantom Menace, cause every way to Sunday, this game is a prequel. So with that revelation out of the way, we're able to piece together the rest of the timeline and dig a little bit deeper. Posters everywhere in Five Nights 2 welcome you to this new location, implying that there was another Freddy Fazbear's Pizza somewhere before this one. Additionally, the phone guy makes reference to it on night 1, mentioning the old location and how it was left to rot. So we know that there was one Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for the first game, one for the second game, and one that came before both of them that we've never seen. But even before that, the phone guy also mentions an even older restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner, which, aside from its confusingly different name, also had different owners. So
is that gonna be FNAF 3 then? So are these all just prequels? So is FNAF 1 like the actual like main like ending or whatever? Cause is it like FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's like, you know, like actually 4, 3, 2, 1 in like I guess timeline or lore order? That's alright.
let me recap. There's the restaurant from the first game, which is the last in the timeline. The one that you're currently working at in 1987 in Five Nights 2, an older location of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria left to rot, and the original Fredbear's Diner. Jeez, I hope you're still with.
Okay, so the yellow looking one, FNAF 3, I'm guessing, but the one in the very beginning, that can't be FNAF 4 though, because FNAF 4 freaking is in a house. So what the hell is, okay, I don't understand. What the hell is that one supposed to be? The yellow one I can understand, that's supposed to be Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but the first one, nah. Because Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is in a house. Oy vey.
With me, because this is more complicated than the Zelda timeline. Anyway, it's at this first location, the diner, where the whole story begins. Submitted for the approval of the Game Theorists Society, this is the true tale of Five Nights at Freddy's. When you die in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, before you've even gotten over the jump scare, you sometimes get a screen like this. Oh, turn it off, it's too horrifying. That, youngsters, was E.T. for the Atari, a console that came out before the NES. Yes, around the same time as the dinosaurs. It's widely considered to be the worst game of all time, hence me reacting in a horrified manner. See? Humor, folks. But seriously, you get these disturbing death minigames which, true to the 1987 setting, use Atari-esque graphics to depict various horrific events. All the while, a creepy robotic voice spells out letter by letter things like help them, or save him. These death minigames are the most important piece in figuring out the true story behind these games. Let's start with this one.
Those little mini games, like, the one thing about those I can never figure out, I thought they were, like, random in the sense that, like, you yourself could activate them. Because I did, like, when I played the games, like, over a decade ago at this point, like, when it first came out, I would, like, lose and then have these little mini games happen. I thought they were, like, you could manually do it. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it was like, you know, you have to die and then it just happens, maybe. I didn't know any of that. But that guy up there, the little boy that has the tears, that's the crying child, I'm pretty sure. The other 6 people, I don't know who the fuck they are.
This death minigame has you playing as Freddy, taking cake to screaming children at a birthday party. As Freddy rushes around trying to keep the whole party happy, a single sad child looks on from outside, when suddenly you're powerless to do anything but look on in abject horror as a purple man pulls up in a car, murders the child, and drives off. It's my belief, loyal theorists, that this game takes place at...
The hell? That dude just drives up, bop bop. Alright, that's enough. What? What?
Fredbear's Diner, and is chronologically the first event that we see in this timeline. How do I know? Well, it's a small establishment, and there's only one animatronic, Freddy, as opposed to all the other games which show other robots. But more importantly, this murdered child is the one that sets everything into motion. One of the new tasks added to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is winding a mysterious music box that we're told placates one of the animatronics. If you fail to wind the music box, what you're introduced to is this terrifying thing, the puppet. It looks like No Face from Spirited Away. You know what else he looks like? Take a look at that murdered child again. See how his tear tracks remain visible on his face, even after he's dead? If we assume that they'll continue to stay with him into the afterlife, we can make a pretty good case that this kid's murdered spirit eventually found its way into the puppet animatronic. But that's not all. What jump scare happens after this Save Him minigame? After seeing this tear-stained child's murder reenacted in 8-bit, the puppet jumps out of the screen and attacks you. Coincidence? I don't think so. That incident marks the first time the chain is ever associated with a violent act carried out against a child, and we can infer that it was this incident that caused the original owners of Fredbear's Diner to sell off to the company now known as Fazbear Entertainment. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was senselessly murdered and left to haunt a crappy pizza place for the rest of my life in the body of an awful-looking clown doll, I'd want to get my revenge as soon as possible. Unfortunately for our vengeful puppet, though, it doesn't quite turn out that way. Fast forward a few years to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the first location, the one that has yet to appear in a game. This new restaurant is the one we learned about in my earlier episode and throughout the first game, where our pal the murderer uses a golden Freddy suit to lure away and kill 5 children in the back room. As we read through the various articles on the wall, he gets caught the next day, but the bodies are never found, presumably because they've been stuffed into the animatronic suits. The restaurant stays open for a few months until the dead body stink starts to waft off the robots and causes the place to get shut down for health reasons. But how do we know this happened in the first pizzeria's location? Again, we turn to what the phone guy says.
Okay, again, but like, they shut down the place because of the incident with these 5 children, but yet no one thought to look in the rotten and disgusting smelling animatronics. They were right there. How did no one look inside of those? I don't know.
On night 2 of Five Nights 2, he mentions the smell coming from the old animatronics, the smell that got the original restaurant shut down.
So how does no one look inside of them? Dude, how do you have children go missing, smell these rotten animatronics, and no one goes, maybe if I just take a peek in there. Case solved. What? Bro, how does no one think of looking in them? That's the first thing I would do. I'd be like, you know what? Let me just, just in case. Okay.
We also know that after the Golden Freddy incident, it took multiple months for the restaurant to get shut down. That couldn't have happened in the restaurant of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is shut down on night 6 and into the foreseeable future. But outside of these lore clues, it also makes logical sense. Before the Golden Freddy murders, there was one dead child whose tear-stained soul existed in the form of the puppet. But now there are 5 more dead children, and thanks to another of the death minigames, we find out exactly what happened to them. In the Help Them minigame, the puppet stuffs the dead children into the robotic suits, giving their souls new life, and preps them for their eternal mission of vengeance. But MatPat, you say through your chattering teeth, there are only 4 dead children in that game. To which I tell you, look closer, if you dare. For the frame right before Golden Freddy's head jumps out and attacks features the lost 5th dead child, and what started as a haunted puppet has suddenly become an army of possessed animatronics out for revenge. But wait, that's not all we know. We also know the murder was committed by the same guy who killed the first child. How? Look at the Foxy death minigame. Twice, Foxy runs out to meet the kids, but the 3rd time we see the tall purple man again, smiling. Foxy goes into the other room to find 5 dead children. The man in purple strikes again. Skip ahead to 1987, finally bringing us to the events of...
I'm sorry, strikes again? So this purple dude, like, killed one child. A child possessed the puppet. Then the puppet kills 4 other children and stuffs them into the animatronics. And then the purple dude kills more children. What? What is going on with all this, dude? Why? So many children are just, oh my lord.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the old animatronics have been retired, and the cute new versions of all our favorite friends come equipped with facial recognition software that just so happens to be connected to a sex offender database. Seems like an oddly specific detail, right? Until you consider that the last restaurant was closed for having children get kidnapped and killed by an employee. It's a safety measure. You see how it all ties together? So you have some animatronics possessed by vengeful spirits and another batch on the prowl for predators, but that doesn't stop our friend the Purple Man from continuing his life's work of murdering children at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As we learn from the phone guy on nights 4 through 6, the new restaurant is once again under investigation as, well, I'll let him explain.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right.
The Golden Freddy Killer struck again. The final death minigame also supports this. You, as Freddy, must walk through an exact replica of the building. Animatronics all in their proper places, seeing the 5 dead children spread out through the various rooms. And based on what Phone Guy says, it seems like the guilty party was the former night guard, the one who moved to day shift and the one your character replaced. I mean, Phone Guy makes plenty of uncomfortable references to suddenly having an available position during the day.
When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. A position just became available. We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it.
But is the Purple Man really someone we've never met and who's only worked there a week? Or is it someone we trust? Someone with a long history with these characters? Someone no one would suspect? The head guard. The one forced to fill empty positions and teach new recruits by leaving them instructions over the phone. Is the Purple Man the phone guy? Ask yourself this. What do we really know about Phone Guy? Let's look at what he says. First, he always
Why is the phone guy killing children, bro? What? Okay.
speaks like an outsider looking in. He refers to the management of the company as they. So he's not a higher up like the CEO or even a manager. But he's also not a typical day worker, as he says things like the employees and the staff. So he works there, but isn't generally considered a regular member of the company. We also know that he's qualified to take the role of a night guard. As we learn, he plans to take over the position sometime after night 6, and is on his way out of the position by the time the first game starts.
For now, just make it through the night. When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact.
What else do we know? Well, we know that Phone Guy has a long history with the company, being with it at least since the first pizzeria that we haven't played in. He also openly admits that Foxy the Pirate was always his favorite, and that he has never liked the puppet because, as he says, it was always thinking.
See, I told you you wouldn't have any problems. Did Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious.
I remember that shit. In Fnaf 1, whenever Foxy came after you, he would just dart down the hallway and you would have to freaking put the tablet down and close the door as soon as you could. That was probably the scariest part of the whole damn game, honestly. Just trying not to get killed by Foxy. I knew he sucked. I did not like him at all. That guy knows the out of me. But yeah.
Like I said, he was always my favorite. I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
Okay, but what do we know about the Purple Guy, the Golden Freddy Killer? Well, let's look at the minigames again. He has a long history with the franchise, killing since it was Fredbear Diner. We see him smiling as he watches Foxy perform, Phone Guy's favorite, right before Foxy sees the room of dead children. We know that the puppet and the killer wouldn't get along, which would explain Phone Guy's discomfort around a creature that he describes as always thinking. And here's the bombshell. We know the killer is a security guard. How? On very rare occasions during the Save Them minigame, while Freddy chases the puppet, the purple man appears and chases you. Look on his chest. It's an orange badge, the kind that would be given to a security guard. Now look at his eyes. Notice the white spots? An odd, seemingly innocuous detail. But now look at Golden Freddy. Look deep into his dead, vacant eyes. What do you see? Two white spots. Pinpricks, really. Barely visible. They're there. And now finally, what do we see in Purple Guy's hand? Well, the Atari graphics make it tough to discern.
You better tell me that's a phone. You better tell me that's a phone? Pixelated and purple. You better tell me that's a fucking phone, huh?
It's not like any gun or knife I've seen. No, that to me is very clearly a phone.
I mean, it makes sense. It tracks, because, you know, the little orange blob thing, and it does look like a phone shape, so I guess, yeah, it tracks. Alright, I mean, yeah, okay. So purple guy is phone guy, which means phone guy is the one that's killing children. Alright.
The robotic voice is spelling out for you, save them, save them. But when Purple Guy, Phone Guy, catches you, the screen crashes and all you're left with is, you can't. But that's not where it ends, Internet. As you and I both know, there's still...
Don't fall for this, it's so false. Wait, what's false about it? I'm only in the beginning, man. I don't know what I'm just learning.
Five Nights at Freddy's 1. If this game is last in line and the puppet is truly pulling the strings behind all of this, you might be asking yourself where he is in Five Nights 1. We know the other animatronics got scrapped, but this ghostly guy should still be around if this timeline I proposed is correct. And get this, the puppet is in the first game. Take a look.
Wait. Hang on. And it's about to tell me that the freaking posters on the walls that have the little tears things are about to be the puppet's presence in the game. I swear to God.
Look at the east hallway. Seems pretty normal, right? But every so often, the posters on the wall change to this.
Bro. Wow. Okay, so, alright. I'm starting to get it a little bit.
Crying child with two streaming lines down his face. Look familiar? It should.
So the crying child that got killed and was possessed by the puppet apparently is being presented through the posters on the wall here. Okay.
The Five Nights at Freddy's series is about vengeance. One child, 6 children, more, looking for revenge against a sick child killer. The Purple Guy, the guy who just so happens to be the first voice you hear when turning on these games. Save them. Save them. You can't. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Make sure you wind that music box by clicking the subscribe button, otherwise the puppet might get ya. Click it! Click it! Oh.
No. Well, that's pretty cool so far, honestly. I like that so far. Although I do have to, go help without English. I can't speak it. Jesus Christ. I have a thing I was going to do in about a minute here. So, I'm going to be continuing with this next weekend with episode 3 and 4, maybe 5. We'll see. But that was pretty dope, though. Pretty dope. I like that. So far, I know that the Five Nights at Freddy's, there we go, game is based off of something that happened at Chuck E. Cheese a while ago, which is already pretty wild, but apparently the freaking crying child that got killed by the purple guy the crying child's spirit possessed a puppet, and the puppet is being presented. His presence is being shown through posters in FNAF 1. So far I know for sure that children occupy the animatronics, and the crying child is the puppet, and that's FNAF at the moment. Okay. Yeah, FNAF. Yeah, I'm just saying FNAF from now on. It's a lot easier than Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, but yeah, that's that. I hope y'all enjoyed. This is gonna be a fun thing to do. Honestly, I'm so far enjoying this a lot. And honestly, I'm looking forward to learning more about this because I've never actually known anything about the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. So, I'm very much looking forward to continuing this. But for now, I'm gonna hop out of here because I got stuff to do. So, if you enjoy watching, please hit that sub button and follow me over on Twitch. Hey, it's Austin, and I will see y'all in the next one. With that being said, y'all have a good night. If I can get to my thing here, and yeah, peace.